I was going to do a stream, what I was going to say yesterday, but had the sort of issue where because of weird timings, it didn't really work out. So on now anyway. Like I said, ideally I want to be streaming a bit later in the day most days, but the annoying thing is sometimes, you know, stuff's going on in the evening. But anyway, it's at least gone 4 p.m. today, so yeah, hopefully we get some people on. And I'm just going to reply to some comments on the video while I wait for people to come on. So bear with me a minute. Yeah, Dave's all right, thank you. Yeah, I've still, Christmas has been and gone, but I'm still wearing the Christmas thing until this gets dirty, and then it can be washed and put away for next Christmas. Yeah, I've just got some very strange comments on the things. Well, like I've said before, sadly, ROC posts in the UK now are completely unaffordable for normal people. At one point, I was saving up for an ROC post, but once all the boomers were like, Putin's going to nuke us, I don't know, I'm doing an American accent, but, you know, Putin's going to nuke us and all that, the boomers started buying them up and drove the price up to silly amounts of money. So it's one of those things, yeah, where they went from being like 20 grand for one in really good condition for now being like 50 to 100 grand for one you'd have to pay a load of money to restore that's not even in a good place. Soviet fallout masks. Well, the PTM, the like white, the little white cloth thing, yeah. PTMs are a bit weird looking, yeah, because it's just, it looks a bit like a plague doctor's mask. I will put on the other Soviet mask though, because I had it out for a video earlier. My GP5M, I dug it out the cupboard when I got this Christmas jumper out the other day. So yeah, there we go. There's this one. Again, I prefer this really to the Shum 2012. The Shum 2012's voice diaphragm is a bit better when I did a comparison video I filmed earlier. It goes live in a week or so. But yeah, this one I just prefer just because it's better having your ears free so you can hear properly. And this is better metal valve assembly on this one, where the modern Russian ones, they completely cheaped out on those. Also, weirdly, the Shum 2012 is supposedly a larger size, yet it seems smaller, so that I think they've screwed up the sizing things for those as well. Yeah, one of the most mass-produced gas masks in the world, GP5M, literally a GP5 with a voice diaphragm on it. Yeah, works pretty well, despite how old it is. Yeah, East Germany bought loads. They didn't make themselves, East Germany, but East Germany did buy a load off of the Russians. Or just, you know, the USSR at that point. So, yeah, like I said, supposedly, the Shum 2012 I've got is a size larger than this GP5M. Yeah, it isn't actually really any larger. It's actually like a tighter, less comfortable mask. But I don't know how much that is because the rubber's not as stretchy. Because that's part of the issue is obviously because the rubber doesn't stretch as well on the more modern one. You're more, you know, at the mercy of it crushing your face a bit. Yeah, fish and chips are nice. It's not like my favorite thing, but yeah, fish and chips is good, especially if you get ones that are cooked well and have a nice batter on and everything. But yeah, so anyway, as long as it isn't really too political, people, I don't have anything really 3D printed myself. I have a couple of 3D printed little accessories for things, but I've never done much 3D printing, so I'm not the best person to ask. World War II masks, well, not really, because most of them have asbestos filters. So if you wear them, you can't breathe through them. But yeah, anyway, so if people want to bring stuff up that isn't really politics, bring up whatever. Like I said, probably won't be on the full hour today, just annoyingly, because I've had one of those days where I've had to get a fair bit of stuff done, so I'm already quite tired. And I think it doesn't help around Christmas time as well, where obviously overeating and everything makes you tired. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm in a good mood. Just like I said, it's just one of those annoying days where I just don't feel like I've got loads of energy. Elon Musk is a pretty weird bloke. I don't absolutely hate him, but I also think he's, you know, a bit of a fucking weirdo. And because there's some things he's done I like, and other things where he just seems to shove his nose into stuff he doesn't understand. So, oh, somebody being racist, I'll get rid of them. Yeah, but again, it's Russia that did it, Rob, so they don't do stuff sensibly a lot of the time. So yeah, but yeah, that's what the Chinese have kind of done, Rob, with some of theirs. But annoyingly, I don't think there's a Chinese version that has the voice diaphragm and the triangular lenses. But you can get export Chinese TF1 style masks and some of the others that have the 40mm thread and have the triangular lenses. I don't remind myself of that, but is that Global Offensive CSGO? Like it was the one before Counter-Strike 2, wasn't it? That's just turned into Counter-Strike 2 now. But yeah, don't forget to like the stream for anybody watching. But anyway, I'm just going to see if there's anything interesting in the news today, because I haven't really looked, in all honesty, at any news or anything today. Right, so Russia's been blowing up civilians in Ukraine as usual. Otherwise, it's just celebrity bullshit news on most of the BBC, so nothing interesting. Yeah, there's not much on the news that's actually I haven't had a chance to play about with them completely at great success, but these iRadio ones seem pretty good because they only cost about £30, and you can encrypt them. So that's pretty damn cool because lots of you know, similar radios you can't encrypt for this sort of price range. So with the two I've got here, and I'll turn the other one on to see if we can pick up the air traffic control.
Welcome. Frequency mode.
If anybody's talking there. Yeah, with these ones.
Frequency mode.
So obviously they can transmit to each other. I think these ones can do FM, yeah. But I haven't. Yeah, it has got an FM mode.
0.
Oops, that wasn't what I was meant to press to switch to FM. Right, but yeah, but to demonstrate what I mean by this is if I get out the Baofeng now and set it to the same frequency.
Frequency mode.
So they're all set to 144.895. So yeah, this the Baofeng can't hear. So if I turn off the other one, so if I do that, look, the Baofeng can't pick it up because it's encrypted, which is pretty cool.
Downwind, touch again.
Depends on what kind of aerials you put on them for the most part. I don't know in terms of like pure transmission range. Again, you have to ask somebody that's way more into radios than me. But in terms of
The 3 seconds, Golf Oscar.
just gonna make sure I don't accidentally knock that one and transmit where the airfield's talking. Yeah. In terms of picking stuff up, it depends on the aerial. So like, look, for example, the one I've got that's picking up the airfield at the moment's got one of these fucking huge aerials on that you can unfold. And again, I could put this aerial on one of those because the cool thing with most of the like radios now you can get is all of them have these kind of sort of universal sockets, or whatever you want to call them, like, you know, the like coaxes or whatever they are for the connection. So there's nothing stopping you, for example, just randomly. Am I from Poland? No, I'm not from Poland. Why do you think I'm from Poland?
Frequency mode.
But yeah.
Remain outside the guys knocking control zone. Remain outside the zone. Golf Oscar Whiskey.
Let's see if I can get
Welcome. Frequency mode.
pick up the airfield on this one, because it should do, but last time it wasn't picking it up as well. Not with these, you can't, because police radio's encrypted. I don't know, never tried. Yeah, Baofeng mentioned. Yeah. Or most of the radios I've got are Chinese ones, because the Chinese make cheap radios. But yeah, what was I going to say regarding these radios? They're all pretty good, but again, like I said, I'm not the best person to ask about radios, because if people send them me, you know, I can do tests sending a thing from one radio to another. Any public frequencies I can listen into, but I'm not otherwise that knowledgeable on them. Well, I'll flick the one that's listening to the airfield off so it doesn't keep interrupting me. It depends. The iRadio ones are only like £30. They're really cheap for what they are. When I do a proper video on them, I'll put a link to them. But yeah, they're really, really cheap for what they are. Like, I don't know how much like cheapo Baofengs now, like this type of model. Let's have a look. Baofeng. So let's have a look at UV5R, because that's one of the really popular ones, isn't it? That isn't a UV5R, that's a GT5R. But so yeah, Baofengs are like 16 to 30 quid. So and they actually sell those at B&Q and places. That's kind of funny. But yeah, like I said, 30 quid for the iRadios, because you can encrypt them, is pretty damn good. Because obviously, like, yeah, like I said, then you can talk to people and not have anybody listening. I hope it wasn't a bad earthquake. Yeah, I was just now doing the stuff with you, showing you if the stuff you're asking, do I ever tinker with? I don't know what that is, so the answer is no. But yeah, so like I said, these iRadios are good. So like we were on about the encryption with them and all that sort of stuff. But yeah. Anyway, and the Bose detector I've got with the Rad Pro stuff on is vibrating. I've got the ticking turned off because I've got on constantly. It's accumulated 39.22 microsieverts now. But some of the what was I going to say? A lot of that was when I first did tests of it next to radioactive samples. All right, I'm getting rid of the person that's asking me stupid questions, because obviously they're here to be annoying. If they're not, then I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's a little kid that's discovered what the internet is. No, the radios I have are all the ones, like I was saying, that I've shown. And like I said, I'm not that knowledgeable on radios. All the ones I have. In the UK, it depends what things you're transmitting on. You can have like a Baofeng or whatever and listen into whatever you want. No, there's no issue with that. If I decide to transmit on certain frequencies, then I need a license, but I'm not transmitting on them, so it's fine. It's like lots of the things in the UK, like where you can own something in your house and it's not an issue, but if you take it outside the house, it becomes an issue. In a bit like that with the radios, you can listen into stuff and it's fine, but you can't transmit on certain bands because, you know, they're meant to be for certain things, or yeah, for certain licenses. So yeah. Yeah, like I said, Hype, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there are frequencies in the UK you can use. Like I said, when I was using the Baofeng to talk between other radios. Because this one only lets you do quite a limited load of bands. I'm assuming that's so you can't start fucking with airfields and that. 'Cause like local airfield, I can't pick up on this one. So if I do a frequency range of this, I'm fairly sure it's the civilian ones, because again, it's because they sell these everywhere in the UK that sells radios. I think there'd be a lot more of a thing about banning them if people weren't allowed to use the frequencies they could do on the Baofeng. Well, Rob, like I said, I listen to aircraft on my radios. I don't, as far as I'm aware, like I said, maybe I'm admitting to a horrible crime there, but as far as I'm aware, because aircraft frequencies are publicly posted online, you can listen in. As far as I'm aware, there's no issue. Like I said, the problem is transmitting when you start fucking with them when they're trying to talk with a tower. Is that a GPS, Kevin? Because like I said, I've always wanted to kind of get a proper GPS for walking. But yeah, so like I said, at the moment, yeah, as Hype said, it's like I said, it's one of those things where yeah, it's only a problem if you start fucking with other people by transmitting. Like I said, a lot of the time nobody would even know if you were listening in. That's pretty cool, yeah, because like I said, those sort of GPS things is something even my dad, who's a Luddite, is quite interested in, because he does. My dad does a lot of walking, and that was one of the things he wanted to potentially get at some point, was like a proper GPS for if he's going somewhere really remote, so he could actually, navigate without a like he'd probably still take a compass and a map with him, but Yeah, but like I said, you can't actually listen to like the police or anything now, can you, Rob? That not because it's illegal, but because they encrypt everything. Where people used to always listen into the police radios using like scanners or cheap radio stuff. Um, and like the one that Weapon Collector said was always funny, like where his mum would listen in or whatever to the police radio, and then if they were after him, she'd phone him up to say the police are looking for you, go and hide. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the stuff you're not meant to listen into, you're not going to really manage to, unless the governments are really cheap and don't bother with an encryption thing. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I'd want a wrist-worn one, just because, like I said, I like having a smartwatch or whatever on my wrist, or a regular watch. But yeah, just one of the little tablet-like ones, like little square ones or whatever. Like the PDA sort of from Stalker. I wouldn't mind getting one like that. Same with my dad. I don't know what type he'd want. He'd want one that, if he did get one, that'd be very simple for a Luddite like him to use. Because bear in mind, he needs help using his emails, doing all the stuff like that. So I don't know if it's just one of those things where he keeps floating the idea of potentially wanting one, but never wants one. Saying that, it's his birthday coming up, and I haven't got him anything for his birthday, so I'll probably just have to get him some money, give him some money, because again, he's not told me anything he potentially wants for his birthday. But yeah, so trying to think if there's anything interesting. Like I said, not much on the news over here in the last couple of days at Christmas. Like I said, I'm still quite sleepy from Christmas, as in overeating. Wasn't stupid and didn't drink too much, but I've had a bit of alcohol over the last couple of days, but nothing silly. And but yeah, I'm just I'm feeling quite sleepy. I think because it's been Christmas, and a couple of days of overeating, and obviously on Christmas Day I was quite busy because I had to go down to my granddad's for a few hours. So yeah, I've got a load of videos filmed again. Like I said, I'm sort of keeping a week in front with shorts and regular videos. A lot of them are gas mask videos that are scheduled at the moment, so people into gas mask should find those interesting at least. Yeah, it's like that with my dad. There's certain things my dad can do which are very complex, and he has no issues with. Again, stuff he grew up doing, I think. But yeah, he really struggles with. Like again, my dad's not such a Luddite. He can't use a PC. He can just about navigate Windows, even though Windows 11 has made that harder for him because changing all the stuff around. But yeah, my dad is certainly someone you don't leave alone with a computer for too long because of how many times he does stuff that's blatantly going to get malware or a virus on his PC. Like the other day, he was doing one of those things where he wasn't going to the proper web page for something, where he'd typed in like a web address wrong, was on some sort of scam site, then complaining to me like it wasn't working. I was like, oh no. Thankfully, there wasn't anything on the PC, but I had to end up doing like a full virus scan for him and everything else. Where he was he's definitely the kind of person that has had to be told lots and lots of times not to talk to the Microsoft man on the phone. Hello, this is John from Microsoft. Your computer has virus. We need to redeem your credit card, sir. He's definitely one of those people that would fall for one of those if he hadn't been told over and over and over again that the Indian people phoning up aren't actually from Microsoft and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so like I said, at the moment, not too much going on with me. The main thing I'm trying to arrange, and again, it's annoying because I have to have two friends that are online at the same time for a group chat. So I'm having that issue where one will be online and the other one won't. I don't think you'd fall for a Nigerian prince thing, because most of the emails, he basically is like, I don't know this person. He deletes the email if it's not somebody he knows. It's just, yeah. But anyway, it's because I'm meant to be visiting some friends, hopefully in January, or maybe it would be February if we can't get a time arranged for January. But the annoying thing is, because I'm wanting to visit two friends up there, I want to get them both in a group call so we can work out when the best time is for me going up. And it's that typical fucking thing, if one's online, the other one isn't. And I'm now like getting a bit shitty with either of them, going in the nicest possible way, but like the sort of thing of, well, the next time one of you's online, we're just going to forcibly call the other one and just try and get them into the thing, because it's annoyingly where each of you are like, oh yeah, I'll be on this day, and then one of them doesn't turn up. Or I might just do the thing where I arrange with one of them what time I'm coming up, and then basically just turn up at the other one's house and say, yeah, I'm here now. Because yeah, trying to arrange stuff with two people that are unreliably online is quite annoying. Yeah, and that's actually good, because I don't like Apple, but that is fucking good they did do that, because yeah, it's because again, it's like when I've said to people about the VPN, and all right, Arthur Ideal, yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and all that, Happy New Year for when it's the New Year. But yeah, because again, it's like the whole thing with VPNs, that there's been some VPNs that have been tested in court, haven't there, that when the governments have asked them for like sensitive info, they've actually said to certain governments like, no, we are not sharing this info. Whereas there's other ones where I definitely think that they just hand over all your details very, very quickly, and so yeah, that's one of those things that again, you only really want to use like security stuff from companies that are definitely going to not hand your details over like that. Yeah, there's a load more gas mask videos coming up. Let me tell you the dates they're coming up. Right, so shorts, because again, at the moment I mostly have shorts planned. Tomorrow's one isn't a gas mask video. The 29th isn't. The 30th, the 31st, the 2nd and 3rd of January, a gas mask video. So there's 4 gas mask videos coming up out the next 6 or 7 days. And I will film some more gas mask ones, because if the gas mask shorts do well for views, then I'll be doing more. Because again, the good thing with the shorts is I can just do like a quick, like sub 3-minute review of a gas mask. But yeah, I'll probably get a video filmed on the Romanian M74 and the Italian M90 over the next couple of days as well, to go live after those other ones I filmed. Because again, the Italian M90 is one that turns up on the surplus market now and then more than it used to. And the M74 is pretty cool. You look very left-wing. No, I'm not. I'm a far-right fascist. Well, not really, but again, no, your diagnosis is not correct. I don't know if you can, because I've got a red jumper on. I'm a commie. Good man. But yeah, according to the government over here, especially our dickhead of a prime minister, Keir Starlin, I'm a right-wing fascist because I'm not a fan of him. Yeah, because a man with a red jacket on gives out free presents to people. Santa's a commie. No, gas masks. We were just on about gas masks. Romanian M74 is a gas mask. And it's the weird one because it's communist Romania, but it's a NATO threaded mask. Because Ceausescu, for whatever reason, bought fucking NATO threaded masks for some reason. Because he bought the license for an M65 and they didn't change him to Warsaw Pact filters. Again, I don't know why. But Romanian M74s are basically Draeger M65s from West Germany, just slightly better built, which again is funny because it's Romania. But I think it's just a case that because they came out a bit later, they used a different rubber. I have got a GP4U somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's probably in a storage thing somewhere. All right, Christopher. I hope you enjoyed the videos anyway. Yeah, it was a good Christmas for Romanians, wasn't it? That was a good present. They gave him some 7.62 by 39mm presents. But yeah, if you're a dictator that's losing power, the best thing you can do is probably flee the country. Don't do a Ceausescu and decide that you're going to order all of your soldiers that are made up of regular poor people to fire on the regular poor people of your country. It doesn't go well. Oh yeah, the AR-10 is cool. Again, I like battle rifles. Again, sadly, because it's a YouTube stream with all their fucking rules, I can't get out my Diak SLR or the Beretta battle rifle I've got over there. Yeah, the funny one for me is that Czechoslovakia designed guns like the CZ-75 specifically for export to bring money into the country. So basically, it was a gun that they tried to make to appeal to capitalist countries. Yep, the Beretta, is it the BM59? Yeah, Beretta BM59. It's the weird thing that they made from the Garand tooling, but made an M14 style rifle before the M14 was a thing, and it's better than the M14. What, is there actually a market for it, Scott? I mean, that'd be really cool if they did do new production FALs, because with FALs, isn't there a company in Brazil that still makes them, like for government contracts or whatever? I will do 410. Yeah, again, I like integrated bipods and bayonets on guns. I think they're just a cool feature. Like a little folding bayonet and a folding bipod. But again, a lot of guns don't do it. And then I've also got the fugly Sturmgewehr 57 behind the camera. It's not 308mm. It's 308 is inches. 7.62 is millimeter. So 7.62 is the millimeter of the cartridge. 7.62 by 51mm. 308 is the imperial version of it, like how British World War II rounds are 303. You know, like a third of an inch, and a 50 cal is half an inch. Yeah, Imbao sounds like the right thing, yeah. Because Imbao did like the folding stock parafouls and that, didn't they? But yeah, so anyway, just trying to think if there's anything interesting to bring up while I'm on here and about. Let's have a look. I did do a video on the CT12 and FM12 again. I'll do one just on the C50 explaining why I like it for the people that keep asking. Oh, well, there you go. I hope I'm not making your hangover worse then. But like I said, I bet I didn't drink very much at all this Christmas. I had a couple of beers and I've had a couple of glasses of wine. And that's been it. Yeah, it's just like I said, I just feel quite tired at the moment just because because I've eaten a lot. Don't know anything about it, croipy. So can't tell you anything about it. Don't know what it is. No, I wasn't in the military. Some of my relatives were. I'm, like I've said before, unfit to serve. So, you know, medically unfit. So even if I wanted to, wouldn't have been able to. And with the stuff at the moment where they're being really kind of picky over recruits, that definitely wouldn't have worked out. Although, again, that's why they're now trying to completely change all those sort of things, aren't they? Because, again, they, like lots of countries, they've had the issue where they made it too strict on who could join and then found they haven't got enough recruits, because that tends to happen. Oh, wait, it's, you know, you are being a dickhead, aren't you? Right, bye. First, are you commie, are you gay? But, you do get some all sorts on here, don't you? All right, Rajiv. Anyway, what was I going to say? I'm not going to be on too much longer, but if Rajiv's come on, you'll have a chat for a bit. If I do a stream tomorrow, he almost got me with the 7.62, like the 308mm thing, but I couldn't tell if it was a stupid person or a troll. Yeah, had a nice Christmas, thank you. Like I said, tomorrow I might just do a video game stream. Yeah, I wouldn't know, Scott, and sadly I can't really talk about that stuff on YouTube now because of their policies, you know, like mentioning modern manufacturers and all that, because YouTube gets really, really funny about that now. You can get them from eBay still. I did do a video today, if you didn't see it, where like eBay and Etsy are kind of the ones for surplus things if you don't have any surplus shops near you. Otherwise, you know, it depends if you're buying new masks or not. If you're trying to get like S10 style masks, then yeah, eBay is probably your best bet. But yeah, I finished Days Gone the other day, and that was really good. I've not quite 100%ed it, as in I've done all the major things for it, like every quest and side quest, all of like the map activities, like clearing the ambush camps and the hordes. But I haven't quite yet, like haven't found all of the little collectibles in it. But Days Gone was actually, it surprised me how good Days Gone was. You know, when I started getting into it, I was really enjoying playing that. So yeah, I've finished Days Gone now. I'm trying to think what else I've got that, I bought a few games in the Steam sale for Christmas, you know, where they are actually like £10 or less each, most of them. So there's some of those I'm playing, but not necessarily stuff I do multiple streams on. So yeah, there's those sort of things. But I need to finish the Outer Worlds 2 as well. And when I finish the Outer Worlds 2, I'll probably start Cyberpunk 2077. I need to do that RoboCop DLC at some point, because that's meant to be good. And I finally bought that now and own it. I haven't got around to playing it yet. But yeah, later on tonight I'm probably just playing some Schedule 1 with some mates, because they've added the shrooms to Schedule 1s now. Starfield's meant to be really crap, Scott. I've got not SnowRunner, I've got Mudrunner, or whatever the other one is. I've already done the Terminator Resistance DLC, Rajiv, ages ago. But the RoboCop one I haven't played yet. So it's the same developers. I don't know anything about them, Jonathan. Are they like pistol crossbows or whatever? I haven't bought any new pistol crossbows in ages. What reproduction masks, like World War I masks? They're the only reproduction masks I've ever seen, and most of those don't work, do they? They're just like, you know, for reenactors. Never got into Project Zomboid, as in I own it, but because it has quite a lot of gameplay mechanics to learn, I was never patient enough to sit down, you know, and learn it. Yeah, Guinness I like, but Guinness Stout is one of those things where if I have too much Stout in one go, it tends to give me the shits. So I like Guinness. I like the taste of Guinness and everything, but it can give me an upset stomach. Yeah, that'd be sort of interesting. Like I said, I kind of like the FRR, but yeah, at the same time, with like I said, the C50 I prefer, even though I think the rubber is better on the GSR FRR. But in general, I just prefer the layout of the C50. Haven't played anything about War Thunder Infantry mode. I've played Enlisted, which is like their first-person shooter. Yeah, I like the Stalker games. Yeah, certainly better than. Yeah, again, I think the PMK4 I actually prefer. The PMKS PMK4 I might actually prefer to the FRR, but I haven't got one side by side to do a comparison with. What, like old Scrumpy, Scott? Oh yeah, hard cider is what you call alcohol cider, isn't it? What we just call cider over here. We call it apple juice, what you'd call soft cider or just cider. But one of the ones you can get over here is Old Rosie, which is a scrumpy, so it's really cloudy looking. And yeah, that's like an 8% sort of one or something. But yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else to bring up before, like I said, I head off. Because like I said, annoyingly today, I'm just a bit tired because I think, again, it's all that Christmas sort of shit catching up with me that, you know, doing a load of socialising with relatives. Tomorrow I'm out seeing relatives as well, which again is nice. It's just sometimes that's a bit tiring. So if I stream tomorrow, it'll have to be earlier in the day because, like I said, in the evening, out over some relatives. You have to make the question a bit less vague. Are you on about weapons or gear or what? Because the person saying quality over quantity, what sort of equipment are we talking about? And again, is it if it's stuff for your own personal use or if you're outfitting an army? Because again, that's where like budgets and all that have to be stretched. Yeah, the C50 I really like. Essentially, the C50 and the M50 are the same mask. It's just C50 is obviously 40mm. So yeah, you can put nearly every 40mm filter on it, no issue. Some filters, because of the way they connect to the mask, you won't manage to connect. Actually, no, saying that, I think most filters go on the C50 fine, but C50 filters don't go on other 40mm masks, all right, because of the shape of the filter, because it's got that like convex shape to the filter, concave, convex, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I've never seen FRR outserts. Well, again, with guns, I have to be careful because I can't talk too much about that on a YouTube live stream because of YouTube policies. But if it was for a military, you'd want a good enough like semi-auto rifle or whatever, or you know, select fire. Because again, I don't think even with most modern militaries, how things are going now, that the MOA and everything of a rifle is that important with, you know, drones blowing people up, artillery and everything else. Yeah, Scar H I like because again, it's kind of like the FOW, isn't it? The modern FOW because it's again an FN and the Scar H is a 7.62 one. But yeah, again, like I said, I'm not the best person to ask, but in theory, I'd say the MOA of a rifle isn't all that important with a modern sort of. I'd say giving. Again, you'd probably if you have standardized calibers, if that's what you're asking, that's a very good thing because you don't want like shitloads of different calibers because then it's going to make logistics issues horrible. But again, with the US, I don't really understand why they're doing this 6.5mm thing, which is again kind of going closer to 7.62mm. They could have just stuck with 7.62 or gone to 5.56 for everything. Is the GPMG FN mag, Rob? Yeah, again, it's because improvements to the mask have been embezzled. FM11, let me have a look which one that is. It's a Chinese one, isn't it? Do you mean the MF11? If so, it depends if you've got the export version or the domestic Chinese version. Domestic Chinese ones will be GOST. Export version should be 40mm NATO. So again, I don't know which one you've got. All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, Rob, I know the one you mean. Yep. If you have the export version, it should be 40mm NATO. But again, it depends how old it is and everything else. Like more modern Chinese masks are definitely normally 40mm NATO for export. You know, just Stanag, 40mm DIN, whatever you want to call it, are because yeah, and again, the problem was the M14 was one of the worst of the 7.62 rifles, which I know is going to upset a lot of people potentially, but most gun historians believe that, like the FOW and the G3 were just better, and like that BM59 I've got. Because again, the M14 was that kind of problem of them trying to get one thing to do too many things. It depends where you are, Jonathan. Like people in America can get bullets, cartridges. So again, they you know wouldn't have much use for a crossbow. Well, so it's like still enjoyable shooting a crossbow. But if you're in the US, you know. Now, if it came with a filter made in October this year, your filter's still good. You could always measure your filter to check if it's 40mm NATO or GOST if you've got calipers. you can, like, check the thread pitch and that using that. But again, the M14 EBR or whatever it's called, DMR, the like more modernized M14 I like the look of. But yeah, the original M14 was like the Ordnance Board or whatever, wasn't it? Basically saying, oh yeah, even if you said you even if this isn't the best gun, it's gonna you're picking this one because fuck you, you're having this. Well, the XM8, the fish gun, the one that's in Bad Company 2. Yeah, I can understand why, like, so many of the US soldiers love the M16 when they had it replace the M14, it being lighter, carry more ammo. But then there's the whole thing about the M16 being sabotaged in Nam by the Ordnance Board, where they literally got US soldiers killed because they wanted the M16 to fail so they could go back to the M14, where they were telling them, oh, you don't need to clean your gun, and they were issuing them, like, the cheapest, most horrible, like, fouling powder, like, almost like black powder for it. Supposedly it was like really, really cheap gunpowder that went in the cartridges, so it would cause as much gunking in the guns as possible. Don't know which one the Sig Spear is. I know who Sig Sauer are, but sadly modern Sig isn't very good compared to old Sig, because you've got old Sig that made all like the P226 and all those cool guns, and then you've got US SIG that makes the guns that blow your leg off when they do a negligent discharge in their holster. Because they've had a lot of issues with the SIGs going off in holsters. I haven't seen the Stoner tapes. That sounds interesting. But yeah, Eugene Stone is a very interesting bloke. But yeah, like I said, again, I can't show it sadly because of YouTube. But yeah, the old SIG I've got here, the SIG 510, the DIAC one, is a horribly ugly rifle, but it is complete functionality over form, where it's like the Swiss wanted a rifle that would do all these things, and SIG delivered that. So it looks horrible, and it's quite cumbersome and everything, but for mountain warfare, it's probably the best gun ever designed. Movable bipod on it, can fire rifle grenades, semi-automatic and fully automatic firing modes on it. Takes a bayonet, has one of those like cold weather winter triggers for it. Yeah, let's just get into that. Yeah, Swiss German SIG is the good one. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, the 510 is really ugly. Like, I think it's ugly, but I still like the look of it. Because it's like looks like somebody has made rectangles into the shape of a gun. Like, everything is very rectangular on it, and it's got like the sterling looking kind of shrouded barrel on it to stop you burning your hands, even though you're probably using it with winter mittens anyway, and you're holding onto the bipod and using the bipod like a grip. But yeah, had tritium sights really, really early on, actually, which is another thing. For like a 50s, 60s thing, tritium was like, they put tritium on that really early on, because again, the Swiss for their own defense weren't, sparing any cash really. But anyway, I'll go off now because, like I said, I can't do too long a stream today. Anyway, I will stream tomorrow, but like I said, tomorrow I'll probably just stream a game or something tomorrow, and then just chat with people while I'm playing game. And it'll have to be earlier in the day because, like I said, I'm out with relatives in the evening tomorrow. Yeah, the Swiss one could fire rifle grenades. They called them like the something carrot, didn't they? Like the deadly carrot or something, because they had bright orange explosive rifle grenades for it. But a lot of Swiss doctrine at the time was built around rifle grenades. And they also had this plumb bob thing you'd hang on the barrel, which I don't have, where you'd hold it up, you'd look where the plumb bob was kind of leaning so you could get your trajectory of fire. Because, yeah, Sturmgewehr 57 or the SIG 510. Yeah, the 510, I think, is their export name for it. But, yeah, you'd do that, and then you'd shoot the rifle grenades up and down. So the heat because they had heat warheaded rifle grenades for it that would land on top of the roof of a vehicle. And they also obviously just had like frag rounds for it as well. Yeah, and they had the awesome Alpenflage, like the ketchup camo. I've got a load of that. But yeah, the Swiss stuff was really well built because obviously the Swiss stuff was completely designed around their own defense, needs. where, you know, like lots of other countries sort of, you know, like obviously make compromises, and that the Swiss at that period were like, you know, we are holding all the gold in our mountains, so we need also these rifles and all these machine guns. So they had the MG42s, and they had like, yeah, like those Sturmgewehr 57s and all the other cool stuff they had, like the fake mountain like rock things that are actually like pillboxes, which are really cool. So, you know, you could have all these things that look like regular mountain sides, but they are actually machine gun nests, and all of the trench networks being cut into the mountains. Oh, I've got one of those, Kevin. Oh, not the full size one. I've got like the knapsack type one. But the annoying thing with that is it's designed to be attached to the Alpenflage, so you can't use it as its own backpack, because it's almost got like one strap on it, and then some clips, and the clips attached to the back of the buckles on the Alpenflage jacket. But yeah, let me just, before I go off, if it's the M70 camo rucksack, is it like one of these things? Because like I said, they're pretty common over here in Europe. Let me just delete the stupidly long eBay URL. Yeah, are you on about this thing? Because I'm pretty sure that's the one I've got. Although, if that one has two straps, that isn't the same one I've got. No, that's different than the one I've got, because that's got two straps. The one I've got is the one that actually connects to the you know, like physically connects to the thing itself. That still might do it. I'm not sure, but yeah. But yeah, you can get those very easily over here. Most of the sellers with them are selling them for like £5 to £20, depending on the condition and well, that sort of stuff. But yeah, suddenly it's just probably a case of maybe somebody will ship one to America for you. You'll just have to find somebody willing to do it. Yeah, exactly, Rob. Yeah, they had some really cool stuff. The old Swiss training films are really interesting about like just how much of a nightmare it would be to invade Switzerland. Because yeah, you've got all these mountains. Yeah, good luck getting armor up there with all of these little kill sort of, you know, trenches and bunkers and everything built into them, filled with, you know, angry Germanic French / Italian hybrid mountain dwarfs with all their fully automatic things and rifle grenades, you know, with their gold hoard underneath there. And so they will take your organs to fund the Rolex factory. But anyway, I will it's like the South African stuff, Scott. But yeah, the South African rigs are pretty damn cool. Anyway, I will be off now, as said, because yeah, air bases in mountains. They had loads of cool stuff, the Swiss. I mean, they still do, but and speaking of the Swiss, although they're still technically neutral, apparently they're even moving closer to NATO now because of Russia, you know, being Russia, where Sweden and Finland join NATO. Apparently the Swiss are now like, we are not going to be as neutral. We are still going to be neutral, but we are going to be neutral more on the side of NATO. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that wouldn't surprise me, Scott. Again, I don't think Rolexes are very good watches for the price. Like, Amigas are nicer, but again, with all those watches like that, I don't know. They're like, you're buying them for the brand name, aren't you? You're not buying them for how good the mechanical movement is, because again, there has been some mass-produced watches. You know, because again, a Rolex is made, it's not made by some like German man with big goggles on, delicately assembling it by hand. They're still a mass-produced thing in a factory. Anyway, I'll be off then, because otherwise I'm not going to get away. Yeah, Seikos are good. But anyway, yeah, I'll be off. So have a good day, everybody. I'll do a stream tomorrow, but like I said, I'll have to do it earlier in the day, and I'll probably just stream a game and chat with people while I'm streaming a game tomorrow. But don't forget, there's videos coming out every day. Don't forget to like the stream on your way out. And I will see everybody hopefully tomorrow. But like I said, tomorrow I'll have to stream earlier in the day because I'm out in the evening, so don't have a chance to stream. If I don't stream earlier in the day tomorrow, I won't be able to do a stream. So, yeah, anyway, have a good day, and I will see everyone when I see them. So, yeah, have a good one. See you all tomorrow, hopefully.